Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We are all welcome to today's episode. Inshallah, in today's lesson, we look at التوكيد. For those who have followed my series on Al-Ajrumiyya, they might have seen this and have seen it in detail with the Al-Ajrumiyya. Inshallah, we look at it here in النحو الواضح. It's equally well explained here in this book as well. التوكيد loosely means emphasis. So any emphasis you give in language is called التوكيد or التأكيد. But when you see التوكيد in grammar like this, as we've said, in grammar we are focused on the grammatical endings of words. We are focused on the endings of words. So whenever you see a topic in Nahwu, you are looking at, okay, what effect does this have in i'rab? Okay, what is the i'rab? The moment you see a topic in Nahwu, you are thinking about the grammatical analysis and the effect it brings to the sentence. Okay, so loosely, or to begin with, at-tawkid is part of the at-tawabi'. I think we've been mentioning this, that an-na'at, at-tawkid, al-badal, and words like that, al-atf, they are the at-tawabi'. And when we say at-tawabi', that is the plural of at-tabi'u. In grammar, when we say at-tabi'u, it means a word that comes after another and takes its grammatical case ending. Just like the adjective takes the grammatical case ending of the noun it is describing. Okay, so at-tawkid is emphasis. Let's look at the amsila and look at what composes at-tawkid in an-nahw. It says حدثني الوزير نفسه. حدثني yani he spoke to me. Okay, حدثني, he spoke with me. بمعنى we spoke أي على وزن فاعل، بمعنى كان هناك مشاركة بيني وبينه في الحديث. So we spoke to each other. حدثني الوزير نفسه. The minister spoke to me himself. الوزير minister. Okay. نفسه بمعنى himself. حدثني الوزير نفسه. The minister spoke to me himself. قابلت الوزير نفسه. I met the minister himself. I met the minister himself. Be paying attention to the i'rab. حدثني الوزير نفسه. قابلت الوزير نفسه. كتبت إلى الوزير نفسه. I wrote to the minister himself. كتبت إلى الوزير نفسه. I wrote to the minister himself. And then we come here, it says احترقت الدار كلها. احترق بمعنى to burn. B-U-R-N, burn. احترقت الدار كلها. The whole house burnt. الدار هنا بمعنى البيت. As we've been seeing الدار like a house. Okay, the whole house burnt. So when it says احترقت الدار كلها, بمعنى the whole house burnt. It says قرأت الكتاب كله. I read the book, the whole of it. I read the whole book. I read the whole book. فرغت من الأعمال كلها. فرغت من بمعنى I am done with. فرغت من شيء بمعنى when you are done with it. فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. فإذا فرغت أي when you are done. فرغت من الأعمال كلها. I am done with all the jobs or all the works. Okay. It says نجح الأخوان كلاهما. الأخوان, the dual of أخ, I need the two brothers passed. Okay, كلاهما, both of the two brothers passed. Both of the two brothers passed. بمعنى نجح بمعنى succeeded. Okay, they passed, P-A-S-S-E-D. If there was an examination, they passed. It says, ذبحنا الكبشين كليهما. ذبحنا الكبشين كليهما. We slaughtered both of the two sheep. We slaughtered both of the two, that will be ram. Al-kabsh, biman. Al-kabsh. We slaughtered what we slaughter during Eid. Some slaughter kabsh, some slaughter baqara, and even some slaughter al-jamal, camel, yani. So ذبحنا بمعنى to slaughter. Al-kabsh, ram, yani. ذبحنا الكبشين كليهما. We slaughtered both of the two rams. R-A-M-S, rams, yani. Singular R-A-M. سكننا في المنزلين كليهما. We lived, سكننا, or we stayed, في المنزلين كليهما, in both of the two houses. We lived in both of the two houses, or we stayed in both of the two houses. رأيت التمساح. التمساح. التمساح is crocodile. Crocodile, the animal. I saw the crocodile, the crocodile. حضر الغائب. The absent one has come or is present. Okay, the one who was absent, حضر, is present. So حضر الغائب. Here we have لا أخون العهد. أخون from خان يخون, أخون, to betray or to break a promise. Al-ahd bimana promise or a covenant, a trust. La akhunu al-ahda, it says no, I do not break promises, or I do not break trust. Okay. Then the last one, it says antal malumu. Antal malumu. The repetitions are not mistakes. Okay. Antal malumu. Antal malumu. Antal malumu is the expression to say you are to blame. Okay. You are to blame. You are responsible. So when something goes wrong, you are trying to do something and it goes out, and you are like, Antal malum. You are responsible for this. Okay? Antal malum, you are to be blamed for this. From La Mayalumu, in the beautiful quote that we once mentioned, لا تلوم الرياح إن كان أصدقاؤك من الورق. Don't blame the wind if your friends are made of papers. There is a very beautiful statement. لا تلوم الرياح. Do not blame the winds. إن كان أصدقاؤك من الورق. If your friends are made of papers. بمعنى whenever the wind blows, your friends easily goes away. If anything simple happens, you easily lose them. That means they are not, the friendship isn't strong in the first place. So he says, do not blame the wind if your friends are made of papers. لا تلوم الرياح إن كان أصدقاؤك من الورق. Jamil. So before we even get to the sharh, look at these words that keep appearing. نفسه, نفسه, نفسه. You realize that they are taking the grammatical analysis of the al-wazir, al-wazir, al-wazir. Okay. Then you look at kulluha, kullahu, kulliha. You realize that the word kull picks its i'rab from the ad-daru, al-kitaba, al-a'mali. It picks its grammatical case ending from it. Then you come here, you realize kilahuma, kilayhima, kilayhima. Their grammatical analysis is determined by the words that comes before them. Okay, like al-akhawani is marfu, and so kilahuma is also marfu. Of course, you know that a dual noun, when it is marfu, the alamatu raf'i is alif. So when you say najaha al-akhawani here is fa'ilun مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف لأنه مثنى. The علامة الرفع is this alif. If it becomes mansub or majrur, the dual noun, when it becomes mansub or majrur, I will say what? Al-akhawayni. Okay, I will say ra'aytu al-akhawayni. the alif will turn to yai in the case of nasb and jar. Jamil? Okay. And so you see kabshayni, not kabshani. Zabahna, we slaughtered. So the kabshayni here is maf'ulun bihi, mansub, wa alamatu nasbihi al-ya, li'annahu muthanna. The same thing sakanna fil manzilaini. في حرف جر المنزلين اسم مجرور وعلامة جره الياء لأنه مثنى. And so you find كلاهما كليهما كليهما. Here the علامة الرفع comes alif, and then here you find yai yai. It follows it in i'rab. And here you see the repetition, and the word that is repeated comes just as the one that the original word. So رأيت التمساح and then at-timsaha. Okay, fatha, fatha. Ra'aytu at-timsaha, at-timsaha. I saw the crocodile, the crocodile. The second at-timsaha is emphasis to the first one. Then hadara, hadara. This second fi'il hadara is an emphasis for the first one, the first hadara. So the original one is this hadara, and then this hadara comes to emphasize it. And then la, you could have just said la akhunul ahd. I do not break promises. But when he says la akhunul ahd, the second one is emphasizing the first. Likewise, the last sentence, antal malumu, the sentence is done. You are responsible, or you are to blame. And then he says again, antal malumu, you are to blame. This second antal malumu is jumla fi mahalli, whatever the first position, the position of the first sentence is, and it becomes tawkid for it. Okay, Jamil. Now let's go to the bayan. Now you've seen the words we are dealing with here. In the sharh it says إذا قلت حدثني الوزير. If you say حدثني الوزير, the minister spoke to me. Just like I'm here around, moving around, then I meet a couple of friends and I tell them, oh, حدثني وزيرة الخارجية أو حدثتني وزيرة الخارجية. The Minister of Foreign Affairs spoke to me, or I spoke with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. My friends might see that I'm crazy, like how did that happen? That is outrageous. That is kind of an exaggeration. Maybe you didn't speak with her, maybe somebody spoke with you or something like that, trying to play around. They might find it to be something great, something too big for me. Just فَقَدْ يَسْتَعْظِمُ السَّامِعُ ذَلِكَ. Okay, the listener, if you tell them حَدَثَنِي الْوَزِيرُ or حَدَثَنِي الرَّئِيسُ, you might think that, how did the minister or the president spoke? You might have spoken with somebody else. Okay, يَسْتَعْظِمُ بمعنى he will see that to be too great, too big. لأن محادثة الوزراء ليست من الأمور الهينة. Of course, because the speaking with ministers is not an easy affair. ليست من الأمور الهينة. It's not part of these easy affairs. الهينة بمعنى easy, light, something very trivial. It's not a trivial matter. Okay, to get to speak with a minister is serious because of one, their schedule, their position, and order. وربما يتوهم أن الذي حادثك هو وكيله. And perhaps the one that السامع might imagine or might assume, يتوهم, he might assume that the one that spoke to you is the wakil of the minister. هو وكيله, the wakil of the minister. When we say wakil, it might come to mean deputy. My deputy is my wakil. Wakil can also, that is the naib. Wakil can come to mean naib. Wakil, and that is what is used in countries, Arab countries. They will say wakil wizarat al-kharijiyya. Okay, wakil wizarat keza. That is the deputy of the minister of like that. Wakil can also come to be somebody that has your power of attorney. Like your lawyer can be your wakil. Somebody that represents you, your representer, okay, is a wakil. Wakil actually comes from the giving somebody your wakala. Giving somebody your wakala. Wakala is the power of attorney. Wakala, the power of attorney, or generally authorization. So if you give somebody your wakala, the person becomes your wakil. That is why we have وكالة الكذا, وكالة الأنباء, agency of this, agency of that. The agency has been given some authority to act on behalf of other people. So wakil can come with these meanings. أو أمين السر, أو أمين سره. Okay, أمين السر is it could be a person's personal secretary. Okay, أمين السر, a person's أمين السر could be the person's personal secretary. Sir is secret. Sirrun is secret. And then Amin is secretary. So when you hear Al-Aminul Am, general secretary. Al-Aminul Am, mana general secretary. And so when you hear Aminul Sir, it could be a person's personal secretary, personal assistant, as they say, PA. So the PA has a lot of files, a lot of access to a lot of secrets that you have. أو رجل آخر من مساعديه, or another man among the minister's helpers. So when you say حدثني الوزير, a person might find it to be too much. Perhaps somebody spoke to you and you are just making it light. وأنك ذكرت لفظ الوزير سهوا, and the سامع might think يتوهم أنك ذكرت لفظ الوزير سهوا. The listener might think that, oh, maybe you mistakenly mentioned the word wazir. You might want to maybe mention the deputy of the wazir, minister, or mention that somebody, an assistant, spoke to you, and you mistakenly, sahwan, or forgetfully mentioned al-wazir. أو قصدت به شخصا آخر ممن أسلفنا, or perhaps you intended somebody else other than the ones that we've mentioned. أسلفنا بمعنى ذكرنا من قبل. Okay, perhaps you intend somebody else. فإذا أردت أن لا يتسرب مثل هذا التوهم إلى ذهن السامع فاذكر كلمة نفسه. If you don't want تسرب بمعنى to sneak into, okay, to leak into. If you don't want this kind of assumption to sneak into or to sneak into the listener's mind, okay, then that is, you don't want doubt to leak or to enter into the listener's mind. What you do is mention the word nafsuhu. So he says حدثني الوزير نفسه بعد لفظ الوزير, after the word al-wazir. وقل, and say حدثني الوزير نفسه, put the sentence like that, على نحو ما في المثال الأول, just as it's in the first sentence. Okay, فإنك إن فعلت ذلك تأكد المعنى. If you do so, you've emphasized المعنى الحقيقي, the actual meaning. So when you say حدثني الوزير, just like that, somebody might think, oh, his agent is somebody else spoke to you, and you might have generalized it mistakenly to say the minister. So the moment you say حدثني الوزير نفسه, the minister himself spoke to me, you've emphasized the actual meaning of the al-wazir. ولم يبق هناك مجال للتوهم, and you've left no space for assumption. ومن أجل ذلك تسمى كلمة نفسه في الأمثلة الثلاثة الأولى توكيدا. And so the word نفسه in the first three examples is called توكيد because it emphasizes المعنى الحقيقي. ويسمى اللفظ السابق وهو الوزير مؤكدا. And the word that precedes the نفسه, اللفظ السابق, يعني the word that comes before the نفسه, which is the wazir, it is called the مؤكد. ومثل كلمة النفس فيما تقدم كلمة عين. So just like the word nafs, the word ain serves the same purpose. How? You can say حدثني الوزير عينه, قابلت الوزير عينه, كتبت إلى الوزير عينه. You can replace nafs with ain and it gives the same meaning. Jamil? So here the nafs is tawkid. The nafs is tawkid. Al-wazir is mu'akkad. Mu'akkad. مؤكد. جميل. Right. So just like you have a na'at, you have the man'ut coming before the na'at, you have the mu'akkad coming before the at-tawkid. Jamil. With that understood, it will be easy to run through the rest. He says, وإذا قلت احترقت الدار فقد يستعظم السامع ذلك أيضا ويقول في نفسه لعل الذي احترق في الدار أثاثها. If you say that the building has burnt or the house has burnt, the listener might think it to be too large to happen, okay? And might say in himself that, okay, perhaps it's not the whole building that is burnt down, but then athathuha. Athath is furniture, okay? Maybe its furniture burnt, aw abwabuha, or its doors got burnt, aw gurfatun min gurafiha, or maybe a room among the rooms of the house. So when you go to somebody and you say ihtaraqat ad-dar, the building has burnt or the house has burnt, the person might think, oh, a part of it, a room or furniture or something there has burnt, not the whole house. Okay? ويتوهم أنك ذكرت لفظ الدار سهوا, and the person might think or assume you mentioned the word ad-dar mistakenly or just in generalization. Okay? فإذا أردت أن تدفع عنه مثل هذا الوهم فزد كلمة كلها. If you want to تدفع عنه, if you want to push away from him, the listener, if you want to push away from the listener that waham, that assumption, then add the word كلها. So you say احترقت الدار كلها وقل احترقت الدار كلها على نحو ما في المثال الرابع, just as is in the example 4. فبذلك يتأكد المعنى الحقيقي عند السامع. With that, you emphasize the actual meaning to the listener. ولا يبقى له في الفهم مذهب آخر يذهب إليه. And the listener has no other thought to push his mind to. لا يبقى له في الفهم, he doesn't have anything else to understand except the meaning that you've emphasized. Okay? ومن أجل ذلك يسمى لفظ, and due to that the word كل في الأمثلة الثلاثة الثانية توكيدا أيضا, and so the word كل also in the sentences that we've had is also called توكيد. ويؤكد بها عند إرادة الشمول والعموم. Pay attention to this. When do we use it? يؤكد بها عند إرادة الشمول والعموم. We use the كل word to emphasize. When we want to emphasize the totality of something, الشمول, that is the involvement of all parties. And I say احترقت الدار كلها, بمعنى all of it, involving everything, والعموم, generality. ومثلها في ذلك كلمة جميع, and likewise the word كل is the word جميع. جميع also serve the purpose. So you can say احترقت الدار جميعها. Okay, احترقت الدار جميعها. You can replace the كل with جميع. And then we have, says وإذا قلت نجح الأخوان فقد يستكثر السامع ذلك. If you say the two brothers have passed, the listener might يستكثر, بمعنى he will find that to be too much. Okay, he wasn't expecting both brothers to pass. So when you say that both brothers passed or succeeded, he might think it too many. ويظن أن الذي نجح هو أحدهما, and then he might think that the one who passed is one of them, not both of them. فإذا أردت أن تدفع عنه هذا الظن فقل, if you want to push away from him this thought, say نجح الأخوان كلاهما, add the كلاهما, يعني both of them, ليتأكد المعنى الذي أردته, so that the meaning that you wanted to convey, that both of them passed, is emphasized. Because if you just say نجح الأخوان, both the two brothers passed, the person might think, oh, you just generalize it. Maybe one of them passed and you generalized it. But when you say najah al-akhawani kilahuma, you've emphasized the dualness of the two brothers. ولذلك تسمى كلمة كلا, and so the word كلا is called توكيد. وهي لإفادة الشمول ككل, and it's also to give the meaning of shumul. Shumul, involvement of all parties, is also used to give the meaning of involvement of all parties. Yani it applies to everybody. And then also that is inclusion, basically inclusiveness. لإفادة الشمول, to give the meaning of inclusiveness. ككل وجميع, just like kul and jami, they all give the meaning of inclusiveness of all parties. But then ولا يؤكد بها إلا المثنى المذكر. The killer, you only use it to emphasize مذكر مثنى, dual masculine. ومثلها في المعنى والتوكيد كلمة, and like it in terms of meaning is the word كلتا, غير أن هذه للمثنى المؤنث. So the كلتا is used for feminine dual. So you have كلا for masculine dual, and then كلتا for feminine dual. So if I say نجحت البنتان, I will say كلتاهما. Or جاءت مريمان كلتاهما. The two Maryams came, both of them. Okay, so kilta for kila, kilta and kila, kilta for feminine dual, kila for masculine dual. Then he says ولما كانت ألفاظ التوكيد الستة التي مرت بك وهي النفس. The 6 words for التوكيد, you have النفس and العين, 7 one purpose. You have كل and جميع, 7 one purpose. You have كلتا and kila, 7 one purpose. That is the alfaz at-tawkid as-sitta, the 6 words of emphasis. Al-nafs, al-ain, kullu, jami', kila, kilta. Says, since لما كانت هذه الألفاظ المذكورة, these words, since توافق الأسماء المؤكدة, since they agree with the words or they match with the words that are being emphasized, al-asma al-mu'akkada, the words that are being emphasized biha fil ma'na wa tukhalifuha fil lafz, since they are the same in terms of meaning. The nafsuhu represents the wazir, the ainuhu or kulluhum or kulluha or jami'uha or kilahuma or kiltahuma, they represent the same as they represent the noun that comes before them. So when I say ja al waladu nafsuhu, the nafs is representing the al walad, just that they don't have the same wordings, the same letters. Okay, so since they agree in terms of meaning, توافق الأسماء المؤكدة بها في المعنى, they agree in terms of meaning, وتخالفها في اللفظ, but the wordings are different. سمي التوكيد بها توكيدا معنويا. The توكيد, when you use these words to form tawkid, to do tawkid, the tawkid is called tawkidan ma'nawiyan. The terms we've seen here are as follows. You have tawkid, that is the word emphasizing. And then you have mu'akkad. Mu'akkad is the word that is being emphasizing. The word that we are using for the emphasis, it gives the same meaning as the word you are emphasizing. So when I say ja al-waziru nafsuhu, the minister himself, the himself here is referring to the minister, just that the word is different. So since I'm using a different word to emphasize the mu'akkad, it is called tawkidan ma'nawiyan. Bimana, the tawkid is in terms of the meaning, not the loves, not the wordings. Okay, that is the first one. It says وبالبحث في جميع ألفاظ التوكيد المعنوي التي تراها في الأمثلة المتقدمة وفي جميع الأمثلة الأخرى تجد أولا أنها تتبع المؤكد في إعرابه. Says if you should search about all the words ألفاظ التوكيد المعنوي, all the words of the توكيد معنوي, you realize that all of them, they follow the مؤكد in terms of its إعراب. تتبع المؤكد في إعرابه. That is what I was saying. حدثني الوزير نفسه. Okay, and then you see something like when it is مؤكد is مجرور. قابلت الوزير نفسه. كتبت إلى الوزير نفسه. So the مؤكد follows the إعراب of the توكيد follows the إعراب of the مؤكد. وثانيا أن كل لفظ منها يشتمل على ضمير يطابق المؤكد في تذكيره. And then all the words of توكيد, they have a pronoun in them, and this pronoun agrees with the gender of the مؤكد. Agrees with the gender of the مؤكد. The pronoun, if I say جاء الوزير, وزير is masculine, right? I will say نفسه, the pronoun who is masculine, agrees with the gender of the wazir. Let's say I say جاءت الوزيرة, the minister but female. جاءت الوزيرة, what will I say? نفسها, the pronoun must match. نفسها. Okay, so it says that وثانيا أن كل لفظ منها, all the alphas of توكيد, يشتمل على ضمير, it contains a pronoun. This pronoun يطابق المؤكد في تذكيره وتأنيثه. It agrees with the مؤكد in terms of its masculinity and feminineness. وفي إفراده وتثنيته وجمعه, and also the pronoun agrees with the مؤكد in terms of its singularness, dualness, or plurality. So when I say, let's use the same wazir, I say جاء الوزير نفسه, the who is masculine singular because the wazir is masculine singular. جاءت الوزيرة نفسها, the ha is feminine singular because waziratu is feminine singular. When I say جاء الوزراء, the ministers, جاء الوزراء, what do I say? نفسهم or أنفسهم. Okay, أنفسهم, that is the whom refers to the wuzara, to emphasize it. The pronoun must agree with it in terms of gender and number. Jamil. And he says, انظر إلى الأمثلة الأربعة الأخيرة. Look at the last 4 examples. تجد ألفاظا مكررة هي التمساح. You look at the last examples, you find that there are repeated words. ألفاظا مكررة, words that are repeated. And these words are التمساح, and التمساح is a noun, وهو اسم. And then you find again حضر is repeated. Okay, وهو فعل. And so there is تكرار of اسم, there is تكرار of فعل. And then you also find لا being repeated. وهو حرف. لا is an article. And then you also find something like the sentence أنت الملوم, the whole sentence being repeated, as he says وهي جملة. What is he saying? He means that a noun can be repeated, the noun alone can be repeated for emphasis, the verb alone can be repeated for emphasis, an article can be repeated for emphasis, and then a whole sentence can be repeated for emphasis. That is what he means. Says وإذا بحثت في سبب هذا التكرار, if you look at the reason for this repetition, لم تجد سوى أن المتكلم أراد أن يؤكد اللفظ الذي ظن أن السامع قد يفهم منه خلاف المقصود. You find that if you search for the reason for this repetition, you don't find any reason except that the speaker maybe thought, okay, or wanted to emphasize the word. He wanted to emphasize a word that he believed the listener might think something else. قد يفهم منه خلاف المقصود. He might think something else other than what he intended. So when I say أنت الملوم, and perhaps it didn't sink in well, I repeat it, أنت الملوم, to show you that I really mean it. I'm not joking. Do not understand that I'm kidding or something. I mean it. Okay? So when you repeat it, it emphasizes the meaning, so that the listener will not go understanding something else. يعني خلاف المقصود. Says ولذلك يسمى كل لفظ من الألفاظ المعادة هنا توكيدا. All the alfaz al-mu'ada, the words that are repeated, they are called tawkidan. The repeated words, the second one actually is called توكيد. ولما كان التوكيد في هذه الأمثلة لم يحصل إلا بتكرار اللفظ وإعادته. سمي التوكيد هنا لفظيا. Pay attention to this. This توكيد here is the repetition of the same word. So what is happening here is that the توكيد here يوافق المؤكد في اللفظ وفي المعنى. The word that is being repeated agrees with the words that are being emphasized in terms of their lafz, the wording itself, and also in terms of meaning. And so it is called توكيد لفظي. توكيد لفظي. It says وهو كالتوكيد المعنوي, and it is just like the التوكيد المعنوي في أنه يتبع ما قبله في إعرابه. So the repeated one takes the إعراب of what it is emphasizing. So the توكيد لفظي and the توكيد معنوي, they both agree, they both follow the إعراب of the مؤكد. Jamil. Now, with that, let's consume our al-qawaid. Says first of all, توكيد is the definition. Says التوكيد is tabi'un. First of all, it's a tabi'. It's part of the التوابع as I began with. تابع يذكر في الكلام لدفع ما قد يتوهمه السامع مما ليس مقصودا. It's a tabi' بمعنى it is mentioned after a main word. يذكر في الكلام, it is mentioned in a statement لدفع ما قد يتوهمه, to push away what the listener يتوهمه السامع, what the listener might be assuming. I don't want any assumption. I want you to understand what I'm saying. So I emphasize it. Okay? لدفع ما قد يتوهمه السامع مما ليس مقصودا. The listener might be assuming something that is not what I intend. So I emphasize it. وهو نوعان, أي التوكيد نوعان. The توكيد is in two types. معنوي ولفظي. You have توكيد معنوي and توكيد لفظي. He says التوكيد المعنوي يكون بألفاظ هي. The توكيد معنوي comes with some specific words, and these words are النفس and العين, and they serve the same purpose. وكل وجميع, this also serve the same purpose. وكلا وكلتا, and these two also serve the same purpose. ويجب أن يتصل كل منهما بضمير يطابق المؤكد. Each of these alfaz must have a pronoun, must be attached to a pronoun. This pronoun must agree with the gender and number of the mu'akkad. Jamil. And then he says, التوكيد اللفظي, the توكيد اللفظي يكون بإعادة اللفظ, يكون بإعادة اللفظ اسما أو فعلا أو حرفا أو جملة. So when we say التوكيد اللفظي, first of all is an i'ada, it's a repetition of the word, whether the word is ism, whether the word is a fi'l, whether the word is a harf, or the whole sentence. So you can repeat a noun, you can repeat a verb, you can repeat an article, or you can repeat the whole sentence for emphasis, and that will be called التوكيد اللفظي. So what we've done today is that what this topic teaches us is that we've understood the main topic, what is التوكيد. Generally means emphasis. When you boil it down to the grammar concept, التوكيد is the word that is used to emphasize another. The one being emphasized is called mu'akkad. This توكيد is in two types, التوكيد المعنوي and التوكيد اللفظي. التوكيد المعنوي is where you use some different word but has the meaning of emphasis. And the words are nafs, ain, or and also you have kullu and jami'un, and then also you have kila and kilta for emphasis. All these 6 words I've just mentioned must end with a pronoun that will agree with the word that is being emphasized in terms of its gender and number. Jamil. And then we have التوكيد اللفظي, where you repeat the same word, the word you want to emphasize, you repeat it. So you say حدثني الوزير الوزير, something like that. نجح الأخوان, you repeat it to emphasize it. So that is basically what the topic التوكيد seeks to teach us. And note that the word that is being repeated must take the i'rab of the word, the original word. And التوكيد المعنوي, the word used for توكيد, must take the i'rab of the word that precedes it. In its i'rab, something like نفسه, you said نفسه توكيد معنوي مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة. Basically, simple as that. Okay. نجح الأخوان, الأخوان فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف. This I mean الأخوان فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف لأنه مثنى. كلاهما توكيد مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف لأنه مثنى. Like that. جميل. Okay. So with this, let me not forget to note, sometimes I say certain things based on our level. Some might say kilahuma is not muthanna, but then mulhaq bil muthanna. Okay, that concept is also there. Jamil. So this brings us to the end of the lesson. Do not forget to subscribe if you've not done so, and don't forget to share for others to also benefit. Don't forget to leave a like as well if the lessons have been beneficial to you. Till we meet again, your questions are always welcome. Till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Don't forget your revision. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.